Return to the combat area. We are taking Charlie.
The Mattock, or if you're uncultured, the pickaxe. This is the deadliest and most overpowered weapon in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. You've got uncultured idiots say, oh, the M16 or the M14, MAZ-49, L1A1. No, I'm here to tell you that all of them are wrong. It doesn't matter if you have some level 99 player come up to you and say, hey, you know, you should use this gun. It's better than this gun. Just ignore them, because if you're not using the Mattock, then your team is already at a disadvantage. But I want to educate a couple of people on how to actually use this powerful godlike Thor-like hammer or Thor-like Mattock in Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. Now, I need to caution some of you, do not attempt to use this if you are new or inexperienced, because when you use this weapon, you will prey on those types of people. You will literally become one with the trees. You'll have to use your map knowledge, game mechanics knowledge, and high game sense to use and abuse the maps and the Mattock to the best of your abilities. I also need to say that you will be using some unconventional methods and strategies to get kills, so do these at your own risk, and I say this because you won't be playing the objective. There will be times where you have to use your judgment to decide whether you'll pop out and strike, but you run the risk of exposing yourself, or do you stay hidden and let the person run past you, kill a teammate or two, but you stay hidden and able to go about undetected. Now, this is sort of a brag. Okay, yeah, it is a brag, but I am Heigh certified, so don't worry. Like, hopefully that you'll be able to get the Heigh achievement after employing some of these tricks that I like to use. But look, I want to talk about what class you should pick. Now, I don't really advise you pick any other class except for the infantry class or guerrilla class, whatever you want to call it. You don't need to be a scout because you're not really going to be detecting US traps because, like, they have claymores, no one uses those, and people only throw C4, so it isn't really much need to be a scout. Now, I tend to pick sapper because I'm able to use the traps, and if I'm running behind enemy lines, then at least I can place some traps on them, which is good, but don't take up some vital class like an RPG because you will be slower, and when you spawn you want to drop your primary weapon, so you don't want to drop the RPG. Sure, you can drop it to a teammate or two, but you're basically wasting the class in my opinion. Now, it doesn't really matter what pistol you pick. I tend to pick the Makarov because I'm pretty sure that the KGB used that pistol, so I feel like a little spy running around, you know, executing, you know, sneakily killing people with a Mattock and shooting them with my Makarov every now and then. It's for the experience. Now, it doesn't really matter which one's better, you just use whichever one you prefer, but obviously, like I said, you want to drop your primary weapon because you want to be as fast as possible running around. And the reason why I carry a pistol is because sometimes you're going to be head-to-head with an enemy and you're not going to win a one-on-one head-to-head battle with the Mattock unless you weave around trees, but if you're in the open, especially if it's at a distance, you're going to lose. So that's why you have your pistol, so you can defend yourself and you won't be respawning every 5 seconds. You'll obviously need to make sure that you're squad leader. I tend to prefer being in an empty squad and I kick people or I I just like to be in my own squad basically, because for starters, you're going to be putting tunnels right behind their objectives or like on the furthest of flanks. You're going to put these in areas that are in enemy territory, not out of the combat area, but you know, where most of the enemy is going to be huddled up. So you want to make sure that one, your tunnel is concealed, and two, that you're not going to have people spawn there every 5 seconds, basically drawing attention to it. And I'm going to use a bunch of maps to sort of demonstrate what I mean in where you need to put your tunnels. But you can see here on Dongha, I want you to put it like right behind the objective, because this means, and I'm going to explain two of my strategies that I use. The first strategy, I'm going to just outright say this, it's a really spawn camping. It's basically an ethical question for you guys. Is it spawn camping if I use a matic? Like, you hit someone once, because you know, you can prime the animation and run out of combat area and then hit someone with it. I've done that plenty of times. I ran to a commander at his radio and I killed him. He was not happy, but it was still funny.
Anti-air defenses.
Radio, you should have protect me, but it's alright though.
But this is my first strategy. I make sure to go right on the flanks. Like, I am borderline going out of the map, basically, so they can't see me. I loop around to where their spawn is. Now, I'm not going to be killing anyone as soon as they spawn. I'm not going to do that. I'm not advocating spawn camping. But what I do is, when a new bunch of people spawn, I run with them. I make sure that no one's spawning behind me. Gotta watch your back. But I run with them, right? Cross your fingers that they don't hear your voice lines. You're running with them, and some of them will post up at, you know, towards the back, like snipers and machine gunners. Hit them. You can see in the gameplay as well, that's what I did. And then you just start moving to target, and you want to try and hit the guys that are the furthest or closest to you so that they can't turn around and see you, because obviously you don't want to hit the guy at the front, because then people behind you are going to see. You want to hit them, and then they're going to die, then you want to just dip out to cover. Now, it's kind of hard to articulate what I'm trying to say, but hopefully with the gameplay you can sort of see, because I'm going to be annotating the gameplay as well. You can see what I mean. Now, my second strategy is to sort of stay on the border where the combat territory ends and where the spawn is, basically. Now, you want to hide in the bushes or in the trees, preferably not in the grass, because grass won't render for some people, especially if they have it on low foliage, or I still don't know how to pronounce that word. So grass isn't really always the best concealment, but I tend to use bushes and trees, and I hide in them, and I wait for someone to run past me, and I always check to make sure that no one's running behind them. And sometimes people can spawn on them, especially if they're the squad leader. I mean, if you're lucky, you'll get the kills. If you're unlucky, they'll turn around and see you instantly and kill you. It's unfortunate, but basically you want to chase them, make sure that, okay, look, this is one of the hardest things in my opinion. You have to use your judgment and decide, is it worth chasing them? Because sometimes you're not going to be as fast as them. And there have been times where I chase someone, which you can probably see on the gameplay as well. I'm chasing someone, it would make more sense to pull out my pistol, shoot them, and just run to cover. But I was like, no, I'm going to get this kill. Someone snuck up behind me, shot me in the back. So you got to be careful with that, but I always like to run along the border and just hit people. It's funny, as well as follow people that run past me. But what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you might be chasing someone and you just need to know when to quit, especially if they're like running onto a point and there's the risk that someone's going to shoot you in the back. Now, there will be two things that'll be your biggest enemy when maining the matic. Well, technically three, actually, now that I think about it. The first is enemy recon planes. Now, Long Tan is a great map for maticking. Not only is it dark and you're easily concealed, but since the Australian army, or depending on what faction you pick, but you don't get air support. So basically the friendly or your commander should be, and hopefully if they're competent, using anti-air as soon as they hear a recon plane go up, because this will prevent them from spotting you. And if you do hear a recon plane hit the deck, just hide yourself, because if they see some lone red blimp on the far border or even behind them, they're going to investigate, because they're going to know that you're going for matic kills, and they will probably put a bounty on you to make sure that you don't get those kills. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you avoid the recon plane at all costs. Now, the second thing, oh man, this is so frustrating, is the matic malfunctioning. And what I mean by this is that sometimes you hit them awkwardly and you won't get the one shot, and they turn around and they kill you. That is just, that has been the death of me many times, and it has pissed me off. So what I advise you guys to do is aim for the head, aim for the spine. You want to aim for vital organs, because it will be a one shot. But if you hit the arm, or if you don't hit them properly, sometimes you just outright miss them, even though the matic has such a wide range. You will miss them, or you won't kill them, and they will turn around around and kill you, so be weary of that. Now, the third thing is friendly artillery. Friendly artillery is more of a danger to you since you're going to be right behind the objective. Now, don't get mad at the commander, because if they do a call out and say, okay, artillery behind the point, they're doing the correct thing. They should be artillering the back of points, so don't get mad at them and don't forgive. Oh, you want it. When I say don't forget, I don't know English. You want to forgive the commander, okay? Because it's not the commander's fault. You just want to have to be aware that, okay, there's an artillery behind the point. Try not to run there and avoid it at all costs. Now, another helpful tip is to use your game sense. You want to be able to identify every sound, every voice line. And what I tend to do is when I hear gunshots, you have to try and run behind them so that you don't run right into them, because they'll see you, they'll shoot you. You want to be able to hear the sound and try and run behind them. This is why I advise you use headphones. And this is also why some maps are better than others. Firebase Georgina, Dongha, Longtan, some of the best maps because they have wide flanks and they have lots of concealment, so you're able to run in and out of cover. A map such as Kuchi isn't really the best. I haven't had too much luck on a map like that because it's very narrow and sort of linear. When I mean linear, I mean it's not a big map, Kuchi, let's be honest, compared to other maps. It's not big. But even Highway 13 is a fantastic map because if the objectives at the top, because obviously the main objectives that people tend to defend is like the hotel or anything on the main road, and they tend to abandon the other objectives. I put a tunnel up there and I just loop down and flank them, and I just start hitting people in the back. But anyways, I'm going to leave you guys there. I just want to advise that don't get angry when using the Mattock. I get angry only because I need to get good gameplay. That's the only reason why I get angry, and I don't want people to say, oh, you didn't have enough gameplay of the Mattock. Well, shut the fuck up, okay? I'll do what I want. But anyways, don't get frustrated, and I hope you guys do get the Heigh achievement if you haven't got it, because the guy literally screams that, and it's so much fun. But anyways, my name is Tantwo, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.